becomes really tough for TT to go to, well, not tough to go. They will go towards like Alistar, Leona, this kind of thing, to pair with the Kaisa, but it just means that at least for the Gragas, he can do really well into that matchup, and it shuts down, as he talked about, that early Udyr priority where he can go for the reset at the 5.5 minute mark, start to look off of bot lane pressure to go towards Dragons, and it actually gives that opportunity for top esports to have the control on this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, I like this with top esports though in their final ban. They're going to say, look, we're banning the Rel. If you don't ban the Alistar, we get it. They're actually going to ban the Quids, then going to go for it, but now they're going to go for the Alistar, so they go, look, we now have the S tier support. We got the big guy in the bot lane. You know, Rel's gone. No way kind of really kind of, you know, get the duality of it. And right now, what are you going to go for right now if you're TT?
Yeah, and I mean, it works perfectly, right? Because you can have that Gragas does super well into the Renekton, consider that kind of standard counter pick as well. When you're looking more towards these kind of beefier, tankier top laners, I just wasn't going to be surprised if 369 went towards a carry. It's been where his bread and butter has been for so long. But now you're seeing a very strong team fighting composition take form for top esports. More than likely going to be looking towards something like the Orianna again towards Knight. It's been his go-to. Whereas on the opposite side for TT, they're trying to answer with something very similar. You've got a quite short range dive orientated composition, but that works really well for the likes of the Gragas and the Alistar, so they need something to try and follow up here. Maybe we go back towards the Seraphine again here to enable the Renekton and
Zillion.
also this Udyr.
Zillion.
Cassiopeia.
I mean, it works with that short kind of, you know, going with a dive. It can also kind of get a lot of damage down. It can also burn through a lot of the health bars. So if you do have someone like the Alistar jumping in, you can't stop him from going any further with the miasma. I don't think it's a terrible pick for someone like Twila. I do think, though, that when you're going up against top esports and there's so many mid lane picks in the, you know, in the pool, Knight's going to have counter, and Knight goes with the LeBlanc.
Yeah, and look, I think the biggest issue that I have with the Cassiopeia is, like, I like a composition that just kind of goes, hey, look, let's go for the all-in on the dive. Now, obviously, as we talked about, Gragas does well in that, Alistar does well in that. Cassiopeia can play this kind of far back, consistent DPS for TT's lineup. I just don't know how well it's going to do, because honestly, if TT have already fallen behind and they're worried about top esports engaging, it's already over for TT, so I'm kind of curious to see how this Cassiopeia is going to fit the bill. But certainly for top esports, I think they're in a really good spot here. The LeBlanc as well, you do have to watch out for TT, but I don't know how much control they're going to have over this game. It feels like, honestly for me, Karsa plays through Knight in the early stages, sets up this electrocute LeBlanc to take over the lane phase, and especially no phase rush onto Cassiopeia could leave Twila pretty vulnerable.
Still got the LGD chance, always. Always have to get the LGD chance in there. They are still, the best way I could put it is they're the TSM of the LPL, basically. It's like, doesn't matter who you are, where you are, who's playing, you got to chant TSM. And in China, you got to chant LGD. But obviously, looking towards this game, the one thing I want to talk about is going to be that mid lane matchup. Is going to be Twila versus LeBlanc, because I feel like whoever can get control of this lane will have control of the tempo.
Yeah, and very much as like we were just kind of pointing out there, is when you go towards the Conqueror Cassiopeia, you leave yourself a little bit more vulnerable to the all-in potential that can come through from Karsa and Knight. And you also don't have that later. I honestly think the later game scaling in the rune, just with the maneuverability in team fights, Twila has the ability to turn around potentially like 1v1s or 1v2s, because the Conqueror stacks, you get a lot of damage, a lot of healing that can come through, but it's not ideal for team fighting. And honestly, when we see this rune in solo queue from Cassiopeia, it honestly is paired more with the likes of a barrier or something along these lines, so you can go for these outplay potentials. So I want to see if Twila can try and make this rune work and get this 1v1, 1v2 damage down.
Ooh, that was a long distance there as both supports kind of supportal combat onto the AD carries they're supposed to protect. It is Sam D who takes a little bit of a worse trade there, and the level 2 should be hit here by top esports bot lane well before they get it onto TTs, so they will have priority here, and this is kind of what you get with Tristana.
I don't even understand how that happened, because Zhuo didn't burn flash, he didn't burn his like anything to get on towards Sam D. So now with the level 2 hit, Zhuo still having flash, you've got to play this lane so far back as Sam D, and gives all this pressure towards JackeyLove and Zhuo. And this honestly is why we kind of look at them and go, you know, these guys have been the most dominant bot lane in the LPL.
Yeah, the stats don't lie, or at least the stats we pick don't lie. Statistical-based analysis is one of the crutches that we use, of course. No, I'm joking. It's again, yeah, like the the stats tell you that these guys are being the ones that put the pressure down. They are the ones who make the first move. They're the ones that put in the kind of the work to make sure that they're getting those 2v2, hell, even 3v or 2v3 kills in this bot side. But it becomes very, very difficult when you have something like a Tristana to try and deal with. And curious to see now how TD try and just nullify it. I can't stop myself there as they flash straight into Sam D, who has to flash and heal. Not a lot else you can really do there from TT.
And Karsa's bot side here, they know the Xiaopeng is top because he hasn't shown his face on towards the scuttle. So Sam D now, he's got it back. He loses this big wave in the bottom half of the map. So Xiaopeng trying to make a play on the opposite side.
I'm going to see if we go for a flash, bear, slap, quick shot looking
Xiaopeng,
in, but
no!
Xiaopeng is fine. We'll get the flash out of the big fat man in the top side, and that is a summoner advantage to Chelizi at the Bearman.
He will be able to TP back up, but Chelizi looking for the dive.
Oh, I love the flash to try and just deny it, and with the triumph to keep him healthy. That was clean.
That was very clean from Chelizi, and 369 being a bit cocky, not actually just moving away from the tower, getting the reset, TPing back in to save all that CS. So nice play coming through from TT to set that up. But honestly, they need a win in these early stages.
Absolutely, I really do like the move there from Chelizi, and this is why we're calling TT, like, we're not just flat out saying they're a bad team, because we have seen moments and flashes of really nice play from these guys, and really honestly working really in tandem with each other. Xiaopeng and Chelizi being two of the kind of the biggest ones, I suppose, where you're kind of looking at and saying like they are working together very, very nicely, and that was just a perfect example of what can happen.
I am still worried about this mid lane matchup for Twila though, because actually going to hold on to that point as Karsa looking to pay back the favor with no flash.
Well, Chelizi, no flash, no slice and dice available to him either, no level 6 either, so we are going to see the flash burnt by Karsa just to try and get underneath the tower, but they will trade back that kill. Importantly for 369, he was the one who got it.
Yeah. So I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here in this mid lane, because when I ever see a LeBlanc, and I know she's going to be trading super aggressive, I, on the opposite side, have got to respect that, and I go towards something like the Ravenous Hunter and the Taste of Blood runes, because when Knight is going to be trading this aggressively, you need access to the healing. You also need access to corrupting potion, but when you look towards Twila, he just hasn't gone towards it. He went towards the Dorans, which gives him a little bit more health, yes, but whenever Knight's trading, he's just out trading this Cassiopeia, and you can see it there where already Twila's been forced back. He's not able to CS as well, may have to burn his TP to get back into this lane, and just from those rune choices and those beginner item choices, Knight is able to get this lead, and that's why it can be so important to actually respect what your opponent is going for, rather than kind of what Twila's done and hoping to go for a bit of a greedier mid build.
That's the good way to put it, greedy. It's kind of, if it works out and you don't get punished for it, then that's fantastic. But if you do get punished for it, it feels real bad, man. But with both junglers now in this bot side, Karsa and Xiaopeng just trying to keep their bot lanes honest. Xiaopeng now going to find himself to jump straight in. JackeyLove actually jumps straight on top of him. The exhaust goes down. He gets the reset. Sam D goes down, so that should be another reset available. Teen underneath the tower. Will he go down? Yes, he will. Double kill. Karsa takes another one for the road, and that is this bot lane blown wide open in favor of top.
And it already was, right? We said, look, Zhuo managing to get that level 1 shenanigans, burning all these summoner spells onto Sam D has given them so much control. Now Karsa turning towards the dragon. He can set that up for the powerful mid-game top esports can have with the Tristana and also this LeBlanc. Chelizi, though, wanting to push the advantages he has from top, goes for the dive mid.
Goes for the dive, but he isn't level 6 just yet, so he hasn't got those extra little, health bar stats or anything, so it's just going to be kind of a zoning away from the turret, and honestly, if anything, Knight's getting the better of the trade, so this is 80 gold either side, so half a kill between them to try and make back, but
look at where Chelizi is, look at where Zhuo is. They're trying to collapse on towards this Renekton. He's been caught out in the middle of no man's land.
Yeah, he's trying to see if he can escort himself out, but with the Hex Blast there, Zhuo going to find him there. 369, belly bop, going to have the explosive cast, and good night. Chelizi, you will go back to the base, so this is going from bad to worse.
But this is what I love about Zhuo, and like, oftentimes with Zhuo, where he backs it around a bit this time, he gets the Moby boots, he's moving up here so he gets control for Rift Herald, now they get to make more plays in mid.
Yeah, we can see now, double knock up here, so the Grand Entrance was solid. They do get the Petrifying Gaze as well. Show, though, just stop anybody else from aggressing on top of, you know, anybody, really. Show just about keeps himself alive as well. And that means the top esports, they went for a dive. I like the response from TT, but again, they're kind of leading themselves into these moments.
If I'm TT, though, I just turn directly over towards this Rift Herald. It's just about to spawn. You've got the TP available from Twila to get towards that as well, but it looks like instead, actually, they're going to move over towards this dragon that Karsa didn't pick up a little while ago.
Yep, they decided, you know what, Dag was right. We didn't focus the dragons enough in game 1. We need to focus the dragons this time around. And they've got the push now on the top side. Honestly, they could get a reset in here and still go for the Rift Herald. It's still very, very optimal for them to do that, considering they are pushing this top side very, very heavily. You can see already with the little bit of deep vision they have, they know that they might have a little bit more room to work with should they go for that objective.
And you can see Teeen is actually backing on this bottom side as well, so he's going to make his way towards this. Numbers advantage, lane priority just for TT as well, means they should be able to pick this up. The only problem is for Twila, he's actually spent a lot of time kind of wandering around here, so he's actually going to lose the pressure that he had in mid. Oh no! That went to Xiaopeng.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
That's a whoopsie right there.
That's a little bit of a whoopsie there, but look, it happens. They've done so many things to stop it from happening, like Bambi Cinder won't do it and all this kind of different stuff like that, but it happens. And that just means they know that there's 2 people on that top side, at least 3 people. No jungler here, and they're going to jump straight in on top of Sam D, who has to flash away. Nice Grand Entrance to try and force Knight's flash out of him. He will, however, still get the chain down, and JackeyLove is the benefactor of those kills. They're going to jump straight back in on top of him. JackeyLove with the double. This bot lane is looking mighty sore for TT, but top esports just running away again.
And this is the knock-on effect from Twila not having control of that mid lane, because Knight is able to trade so aggressively, having way more when it comes to just the lane per state. Twila backs away, he goes over towards the blue, Knight buys some time, and he roams down towards this bottom side. And this is how you play these LeBlanc matchups. And honestly, it's a really nice parallel to draw between when Captain was playing on TT, because when you look at the way this LeBlanc matchup worked, he was into the Victor, he didn't get the jungle pressure, he didn't get control, and it caused a lot of issues.
Well, sorry, Sam D, you don't get to play League of Legends today. We meant to tell you were playing a professional game of LPL, but what we actually meant to say was you're playing Grey Simulator.
Yeah.
Grey Screen Simulator 2021.
He's doing a good job at it, though.
Honestly,
yeah.
He's doing fantastic.
I mean, I think if I look at anyone in this game, he has definitely done the most in the Grey.
Chelizi, though, in a very close second as he gets absolutely jumped on here by 369 and Show. And Show has just been absolutely everywhere along this map. We can see now 369 trying his best to stay, or sorry, trying his best to kill off Chelizi. And with Xiaopeng there, they should be able to keep the Renekton alive. So, not having the quite amount of burst they thought they have, and it does mean the Renekton does get out with his life.
Nice job from Chelizi there. You can see the healing coming through off of the Q. Did so much work from there. Manages to escape away from that. Good job by Xiaopeng here as well. But now I got to see what Xiaopeng's going to do with this Rift Herald. Because while we had those shenanigans bot side, Xiaopeng could pick this up. I wouldn't be surprised to see him try and use this in towards the mid lane. TT have given quite a lot of resources towards Twila when it comes in the grand scheme of things.
Just not blue buffs.
Just not blue buffs, true. When we look towards that mid lane already having one turret plate down, hey, try and crack that open, try and push it back, make it difficult, or at least really punish Knight when he tries to go for these roams.
Well, Karsa almost finished his back, and now he's here, so we're going to see a 3v3 in the spot side, but that is a Kraken Slayer versus a High Noon Quiver, so we actually have a lot more, firepower here for top esports. Xiaopeng forced to flash away. They got to give up this tower. There's no way you can really defend this on the next wave, but they did actually get the ultimate out of the Alistar, so bit of a win there.
But this is what I was talking about, like TT, try and use this mid, because honestly, that bot lane's done. It's gone. It's over. Get the play back. Try and unlock Twila in this mid lane. Get some gold for this Cassiopeia, because Cassiopeia has to go on for the Verdant Barrier, she's way behind when it comes to her build path. So getting any gold into her is going to just enable Twila so much more in these mid-game fights.
Yeah, well, what the priority Knight has been able to pick up in that mid lane, it just means they're able to kind of deny so much of this wave right now. You can see how much it's hurting Sam D. He's not able to get anything going for him. He's 20 CS down, but Xiaopeng and Teeen now maybe going to try and just jump in on top of Knight, and with the ultimate, you got the Mimic, there's no real danger there. Yes, he dropped in the Miasma, I like the idea, but it doesn't really work out for you right there. They will drop the Rift Herald here and get a little bit more gold, so a kill's worth of gold now onto Twila. Actually a little bit less, excuse me, half a kill's worth of gold. And Yeah, honestly, right now, I still think that this is going to be the JackeyLove show in about 5-6 minutes, where he's got 2 items. He's going to be hopping left, right, and center to try and get him. But Xiaopeng might have found him a little bit overextended. He does have flash. TP going to be used here as well. They've got Teeen coming in, who has got the quickness. With 369 there, Flash Belly Bop is available if he wants to go for it. They have got the explosive cast as well, but they're choosing against it, and they're just going to try and push in all the other ways. Oh, never mind. Zhuo goes in for the flash. Immediate flash from Twila. Nicely done by him. But it does mean that we're going to have more and more pressure. As I say that now, 369's found himself. Xiaopeng gets caught back by the explosive cast. The quickness has been used. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to be able to keep this man alive. And now with the rest of Top Esports collapsing down onto TT, it's just all gone wrong. Also, quickly, nice little auto attack to get the killer instinct. But Top Esports, they're feeling good about this game.
That was just bad decisions left and right from TT. I like that they tried to chase on towards JackeyLove, but once you had that TP invested, they should have just backed away. They would have had the quicker resets coming in for this dragon that's just spawned. They could have tried to fight at it because Top Esports had invested time into that bot side. They actually weren't going to be able to contest it, so you could have been looking down the barrel of a potential third dragon in 5 minutes time for TT. Not going to be the case anymore, though. Summoner spells burned, Flash is burned, and now it's easier for Top Esports to wander out of base, meander over towards the dragon, and get the first one of the game for themselves.
What do you even do now if you're TT? It's so hard to see.
It's
like,
kind of in the name.
Yeah. You cry. God, that was like week 1. You came up with that week 1. You were
Look,
like,
I'm a little bit of a Twice fan, all right?
I'm not going to lie. K-pop song, and I was like, okay. I don't know it.
You went to Korea with me. I
did.
overplayed that song way too much.
I was just listening to the Seven Nation Armies remix by, oh my god, I can't even remember the artist right now. I can't remember, but anyone who knows the remix will
all
know.
made up. He was actually bopping along with me. He's completely lying.
But yeah, honestly, it's a tough one, and this is the thing. Like your waves. So bot lane now is just non-really touchable because 369 can actually kill people. I'm going to stop myself straight away because I'm going to jump in, try and get the kill off on top of anyone on TES, but there's just nowhere for them to go. Knight will not fall because it's his dummy who takes the last hit. Tried something, didn't work, you're now further behind.
Yeah, and I mean, look, again, that could have been a potential turnaround for TT if you'd been able to build up this Cassiopeia, but again, Burnt Barrier, only the Forbidden, or not Forbidden Idol, Lost Chapter even, like, you're just not in a position to turn around these plays. You're losing on the bottom side heavily, losing on the top side just as much. Like, you've no control of this map anymore. And when we talk about the opportunities that TT could have used with, like, getting reset timings, trying to find something that works for them, they're missing that window and giving more space to Top Esports.
Oh, okay, JackeyLove. He's going to go in 2v1, and honestly, he might win. He's going to be able to get one and get out.
Okay.
He will not get hit by the W, though, as he does flash away, and now he's going to try and keep himself as alive as possible, but it is going to be Xiaopeng who picks up that one. But while that's all happening, we know that everybody from TT is up on that top side. Explosive cast, belly bop, Chelizi in a lot of trouble, will be able to just about stay alive. JackeyLove doing JackeyLove things. He's still got a kill and effectively a 1v4 situation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we go back to his camera, he's still going to be giggling to himself. But actually a relatively big error because it does give TT this opportunity to get this top Rift Herald and maybe get some gold back in their favor. But realistically, like, look at the gold, right? 6,000 gold at the 16-minute mark. You've got all the towers being threatened right now. And I mean, this just shows here how far TT are on. 3 members here, and you're still coming out looking worse for wear.
I was not expecting so much mobility from the Olaf. I thought that was TT engaging on the Top Esports, and it actually turned out to be the Olaf. But Sam D going 1-for-1 against Knight, and he loses.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of been the tale of Sam D this game. He has just about a little bit more gold than the enemy support. That's how terribly poor he is right now. And that's the thing, when JackeyLove is that far ahead, when JackeyLove ends up kind of going for this, and you can see even just, I wanted to mention it before we had that last little skirmish, like Sam D, killer instinct, he doesn't have it right now because he obviously didn't have a fight, but he killer instinct to try and get the kill on JackeyLove, and it still went to Xiaopeng, so...
I mean, look, honestly, this is on Xiaopeng. Blue buff's gone to the wind. Now you're looking at kills that should be going to the AD carry. I mean, come on, Xiaopeng.
Get it together, man, come on. God damn. He's got his turbo chem tank, though.
Yeah.
that's nice.
I bet it looks real pretty.
It's so shiny. So expensive.
I always wonder, like, how does that work? Do you just become Darth Vader when you put it on? Because it is like a Darth Vader mount.
Honestly, it feels a little bit like it, but we're going to have to stop it by talking about Darth Vader. As we can see now, there's the Petrifying Gaze only onto Zhuo. That is not the person you want. That was purely to stop him to getting into any kind of advantageous position, so they'd lose 1 instead of 4.
Yeah, I mean, worthwhile trade, but honestly, it's not really working out. And this is it. I mean, 369. Oh, where are you going, bud?
369 is caught a little bit in no man's land. They will use the quickness, but he has got the
He's so tight.
tanky stats to keep himself alive. JackeyLove jumps in. They also got, you know, Zhuo going in on top of that as well. It is 2 kills in favor and no buffer for TT, but there's nowhere for them to go. They are still going to lose it. Even in a fight where they could lose, they're still so far ahead.
It's 4 versus 5 as well, and
yeah,
I mean, JackeyLove is kind of just eyeing them, staring them down at the barrel of the gun, but they will back away. TT, though, this is, I mean, look, yeah, it's kind of just done. I mean,
it is what it is. Ignite goes down into Sam D. Sam D is deleted. Xiaopeng finds himself JackeyLove, who says, a game. Go on then, I'll have a game. Anyone who plays Legends of Runeterra will understand that reference. But and Xiaopeng runs very far away.
What's the twisted fate
fast.
when you've been quoting at me?
Watch the ball, folks.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. It's so basically there's 2 cards, and one of them when he's played, he's called like a pool hustler, and when he's played, he goes, a game, go on then, and the Twisted Fate responds by saying, watch the ball, folks.
Why is it not cards, though? That's the part that I don't get. Okay,
Because the
look,
hustler
Twila's
plays
dead,
pool.
so look, we'll
The
just move on.
hustler plays pool.
Oh, wait.
That's why. And he's not going to die just yet. He just keeps himself alive. Good flash, good petrifying gaze. But yeah, the hustler plays pool. He's a pool hustler. That's why you got to watch the ball. He's warning others about the hustler, even though he himself is a hustler. Play Legends
Nice
of
guy.
Runeterra.
Yeah.
Okay.
I downloaded it and then I couldn't connect properly, so I was just like,
That's
all
fair.
right, well,
That's
dream's
fair.
dead.
We are trying to connect to EU servers from China,
Yeah.
so you know,
Yeah.
bit of lag, bit
Small
of lag.
bit,
yeah.
The TFT one is interesting for the carousels, where it's like you just spam click and hope for the best.
I think we've done that a couple. In fairness, I got up to plat because of that.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I'm in plat now, so. We might be a bit distracted right now. We might be kind of wandering off, but this game has kind of hit a bit of a lull state. So it's just about 6,500 gold lead in favor of top esports. They've only got 1 dragon, but realistically, they don't need them right now. JackeyLove is just a million miles away from anybody touching him. We actually finally see, for the first time in a very long time, Medjai is Soul Stealer for Knight. He's back reading on his library of knowledge, and 15 stacks is good enough to blow up pretty much anybody that isn't Xiaopeng.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he wasn't quite able to get Twila like that. The Verdant Barrier is pretty busted for control mages, and that's why we don't honestly see LeBlanc being played a little bit more, is just the amount of resist that you get out of that is fantastic. But top esports, they start up this Baron. Knight will hop away, and it's gone.
Not that quick just yet. Xiaopeng might be able to find himself. Well, no, they're trying to just get the vision down as best they can. They will not be able to get it. Now they can turn from the fight from top esports side. Show, though, it's a lot of damage down. Petrifying Gaze is still available. Knight just off to the side, trying to be a nuisance, keeping everybody interested in a way so the rest of his team can join him as they look to try and coerce around this dragon.
I mean, you're pretty low here for top esports. This might be a little bit of a misstep. I mean, Zhuo doesn't even have access to his ultimate, so when he goes in, he's doomed.
How fat is your wall at top esports? How much can you get done here? They jump straight in on top of JackeyLove, and JackeyLove's dead. Petrifying Gaze hits absolutely nobody, but your damage is gone. Your consistent DPS isn't there in top esports. This is a little bit of a happy fight.
It's an interesting one, I'll say the least. Anyway, so TT will get the dragon now. Does it take them back into this game? Not really. I mean, you're still only getting a 2nd dragon. You're still looking at a 6,000 gold lead over for top esports, and multiple members having the Baron as well. So I think top esports just biting off more they can chew. Nice. Very sneaky. Oh, they know. They're trying to see it.
Oh, the Twila! Twila really nicely done with it there. We're using the miasma to try and stop Sam D from getting caught out. He does pour in the flash, and Knight has to back himself away. So Zhuo trying to keep everybody alive here. They have to expend a TP. Again, it's a happy game. I like what's happening from TT. They're punishing it. Is it going to change how the game is going to happen? No, but it might take a little longer.
Yeah. It's just top esports having fun, right? They know how far ahead they are. You're 4-0 3 in LeBlanc. Why not try and make things work? I mean, same here for JackeyLove. no AD carry ever jumps into a Rakan with the quickly. That is just a bad time for you every single situation. But JackeyLove is a law unto himself, and sometimes he ends up shooting himself in the foot with it.
Yeah, he's twirling us going around trying to impress people, and it's just like, bang!
Yeah.
I gotta go. As he limps away.
Yeah, just a little bit of a blood just trailing by him.
It's just like,
but cool guys don't look at it. You know?
Yeah, it's just like a little whimper from him. Just like, oh. And it's just like, you all right? It's like, yeah, I'm fine. But look, obviously we're having a bit of fun with this, as top esports are as well. It is still significant to see that, you know, that kill did go over to Sam D. Sam D gets a nice little bit of shutdown gold into his back pocket, and they are able to make something happen for them. But the Baron is still there, 40 or so seconds left on that particular one, and they're still trying to see if they can make something happen. TT, though, they can't be stretched in. You have to be a 5-man unit if you want to try and make anything happen.
I don't even think they can. I mean, look, top esports are just running across, right? And we already said, look, you've got the Baron buff that's there, so they're just rotating around. You move Knight down to the bottom side, shove in with JackeyLove in the mid, now rotate to collect that wave Knight is shoved in. And with the range that JackeyLove is starting to pick up at level 13, it becomes really difficult to try and threaten.
Yeah, Xiaopeng is a tanky boy, though, so he is able to get those little face checks in. The Baron buff has now expended itself.
So the way the top esports needs to continue to play this is Knight off in a side lane. You're looking to try and punish how far ahead Knight is, but also he just works super well at, you know, maneuvering between the jungle to hop between lanes and catch TT out when they are just spread too thin.
Xiaopeng, don't know about that one, Chief. He jumps and flashes straight in on the JackeyLove, who still had his rocket jump. Still trying to run down 369 right now. Quickness has been expended as they try and just kind of push him in a bit further. 369 forced to flash away. The miasma stops Knight from going anywhere else, but Zhuo jumps in over to the side. Sam D gets himself to the chickens, which keeps him safe behind the wall. Never mind, he already had the bomb on top of him. There is a good petrifying gaze as Twila tries to take down 369, who has not got flash, and he's got a Conqueror still going. They're going to see if they can get down Chelizi. Now, JackeyLove, you know there's no way they can escape. You can keep pushing forward. And there's going to be 18 kills to 7. It's a 9,000 goal lead. Top esports honestly could look for the end right here, right now.
And I think that's what they're about to do. You've got Knight who's going to be able to come across. Actually, maybe not. Looks like Knight is going to go up towards this blue buff, steal that one away. So looks like they will just take the inhibitor and then move back. Knight will try and take that tier 2 as JackeyLove feeling himself, but Teeen going to back away.
Yep, Teeen knows he's not really in any immediate danger. Flash and Exhaust are still available for him. Obviously, good that for TT that he doesn't expend those, but you see Xiaopeng now running down. Going to find Karsa here. Don't know if that's the fight you want to take, especially considering there's a JackeyLove and 369 kind of coming in on your position. You're going to jump in on top of him, and that's going to be a heal. Nicely done there. TP going to be, double TP going to be expended. They really want this kill. Xiaopeng and playing a lot with fire here as JackeyLove doesn't quite have his flash just yet. They're still chasing him, but I don't think you can catch him.
What has this game devolved into?
Game.
I don't know what is going on.
Go on then. That one's for Hysterics. Hysterics does enjoy my my impressions of some of the cards.
I love the way Hysterics loves that impression, and Veteran has been all about your Kermit impression for so long.
Kermit the Frog. I have only ever used that once. I think it was when Raz tweeted at me for E-Masters 2018 or 2018 or 2018, and he was like, "You sound like a frog," and I was like, "Really?" I'm a man of many talents.
Hey, well, it looks like TT don't have as many as you do right now, because it's been looking a bit rough. Sam D now sitting at 2 and 6, hasn't managed to finish the collector, but he's so far behind, and Chelizi now being collapsed on.
Yeah, Chelizi not going to really survive this one here. Sorry, I wanted to do one actual play-by-play where I was Kermit the Frog.
God.
I wanted to do
no.
one, so that one's for Veteran. But with the top side being so heavily stacked from the side of top esports, it does open the door for TT to look for maybe this dragon. But 369 says, buddy, we ain't going to let this one go down just as quickly. Twila loses his Banshee's Veil. They do get the dragon, so they are now on soul point, but they are losing the Baron while this all happens. Now, top esports, what do you want to do? Do you want to try and keep them away from the base, which it looks like they're going to go for? They're going to chase him down, and everyone else is going to go towards the base. That's exactly what they're going to try and do. Xiaopeng is in the mid lane. He now knows what's going to happen as Karsa jumps in to try and take this man down. He has got flash available to him, but he will not expend it. Now, Twila gets caught, gets killed. Sam D. Knight says, no, I'm flashing for this. I'm flashing to try and have this. Sam D, he gets the execute! There it is, my son. Nicely done. No more gold for you, Knight, who is 6-0 and 4. As the rest of TT are scattered to the 4 wins, and Teeen finds himself face to face. Yeah, Teeen just kind of went like, hello, I am here and now I'm gone, and he can follow you anywhere you go, Teeen. There's not really much else for you to do. Exhaust has been used. Belly bop to the face. 369 gets himself that kill. And with that fiasco behind us, I suppose Top Esports might think about ending the game.
You never really know with them, though. I mean, they only have 21 kills at this stage, but yeah, it looks like they're done. They're going to wipe their hands clean of this one. Minion wave on bot side. One more fight to go.
One last ditch effort here from TT is all they've got left in them. They have finally got 2 items onto the Sam D, who has been popped, deleted. The balloons we had earlier were him, as they were popped into absolutely nothing. The rest of TT can only watch on and try their very, very best to stand strong, stand tall. But against Top Esports, you are very small against the giants that they are. They're just padding their stats. They're running around the map. It's the minions who will finish off the Nexus. Top Esports 2-0 against TT.
Yeah, not the
that you had to go through for Top Esports before you went to the actual real deal, you know, the bread and butter, if you will, of what is going to make or break your season. Like we said, seeding is going to be absolutely everything for these teams. And for TT, thanks for making it a really fun game for me to cast, I guess. I'm
Here's your sticker.
Yeah, participation. But look, in a league, we talked about this a lot the last few days, in a league where you have 17 teams, there is only so much talent that can go around. And none of these players are inherently bad. Yeah. The problem is that they're just not as good as someone like Top Esports. And you're going to end up with those massive gaps of just skill level.
Yeah, and I think when you look towards like Top Esports, you have like arguably some of the best talent in the world on that roster. And then you're looking at a team who's starting to come in with rookies like Teeen and stuff like that. There is obviously going to be that big dichotomy there. But unfortunately, it doesn't really work out for them. And I think seriously for this team, it's, hey, look, maybe they can try and bring it together in summer. Do I think they're going to make it to a playoff team? Not really in summer, but I still think that we can see the rise of players like Teeen, like Sam D, and how they're going to try and maybe even fluctuate between teams, but certainly get higher in the rankings.
Yeah, and honestly, as someone who's of Irish descent and has been kind of seeing a lot of Irish teams not do very well, as long as you're not last, then you've won, you know? And that's kind of how you have to feel from TT. It's like, are you the worst team in the league? No? Then you win. And you build from there. You know, it's a small bar, it's a low bar, but you can only go from where the bar is set.
Yeah, and I mean, look, honestly, for a team that for me, when they came in, I just had no hope for. Like, I watched them coming out from the Basti Championship in just at the start of the year. It's like, they're throwing leads. We still see that. They don't really know how to set up objectives correctly. There was a lot of mistakes, and I didn't see them picking up many, if any, wins coming into spring 2021. So the fact that we are actually getting to see some sense of coherency from them is nice. It's just that when you go up against a team like Top Esports, you just don't hold a candle to it.
It's night and day. There's nothing you can really do there. But again, kind of focus on what makes Top Esports look so scary. It's that they can just turn it on and decide when they want to win. And that's the kind of like how they've been doing it for the last while. It was, again, rocky start of the split. Rogue Warriors got a cheeky little win off them. I think it's actually Rogue Warriors' only win. Only win. You know what, Rogue Warriors? Again, we're gonna be positive for the bottom teams. Yeah. You got to win off Top Esports, and they could be the champions. So you know what? What was that?
The transient properties.
Transitive properties, that's what it is. You're the champions of our hearts. But yeah, look, there's only so much you can say and, you know, kind of bring in for such. But for Top Esports, it's all about that game this weekend. It's all about moving towards playoffs, and it's all about how much of I suppose, a break you can give yourself between the last game of the season and your first game of playoffs, because we're starting to come to the business end, the best of fives. That's where you got to make your money.
Yeah, and I also think as well, it just gives your opponents so much information, right? I mean, the more games you have to play, you're talking like fatigue, just burnout, and then just the amount of information that's going to go across, where it's like, hey, look, you know, they're starting to tend towards this style of play. These are the champions that they really like. Hell, if you have to bring out something a bit funky for a game 5, that's now out the window as well. So there's a lot that gets shown over the course of those playoffs, but certainly with so many days coming up of back-to-back games, you've really got to be prepared for it.
Honestly, we got to be prepared for it. That's a hell of a lot of work for us as well. But But looking again, you know, kind of towards that, and I wanted to just kind of quickly touch on it. I was like, what I'm actually really excited for the playoffs is the mini metas we get.
Yeah.
You look at all these different things. In the best of 5, you get mini metas of like what's actually important here, what do we ban? Because yes, Hecarim, Thresh, Rel, Tristana, they might be S tier. But if for some reason Beishong has to be banned on Udyr, you got to ban Udyr. There's nothing about it, and I'm really excited for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll have to see if we are going to get... Well, it's really, for me, it's more of a case of, as you said, like, looking at the seedings is like, where do we actually land up in the grand scheme of things? Because I look at RNGs and the EDGs and, like, even top esports, I'm like, right, well, they are pushing towards the top, but honestly, like, where do they actually stand at the end of the day? Because this is where we get the answers. We can talk about the magic, the mojo, and everything that we want for top esports, but where do they actually look? And it's the same looking at like EDG and RNG, WE. Like, where do these guys stand in the grand scheme of things?
And that's it, isn't it? That's why we love playoffs. That's why League of Legends loves it as a whole. It's why knockout competition throughout the world, no matter if it's esports or regular sports, is so much fun because it's step up or step out. You know, you got to be able to go toe-to-toe with people, or no, don't be here. Get out of here. There's no need to be here. You can't go. You can't hide under the gaze of, oh, it's before Spring New Year. It's before this. You know, this, that, and the other. It's like, nope. If you don't win, you're out. And I'm so excited for that kind of a play. And it is one of the, you know, kind of privileges, I suppose, of casting or looking into these leagues, is that you always get that twice a year, and it's so exciting.
Yeah, and I think if we're going to bring it back to this game as well for top esports, like, I'm excited to see what they do against the top teams, because it felt like we kind of got cheated out of some of this, where at least at the start of the split, when they're in that slump those first 3 weeks, where they just couldn't really get the ball together. And as they got Warhorse, who came into the roster as well, FPX's old coach, he's kind of started to shore up some of the issues and the defects that we've seen. And now coming in towards playoffs, where we're going, okay, well, like, JackeyLove and Zhuo have looked incredibly clean on that bot side of the map. Like, can they just take over from the bottom side? What kind of form do we see out of 369? Like, what do the dice say today? So I think there's a lot there that we've still got to open up, alongside, like, Karsa looking splendid, but where does Knight land? He looked great in the LeBlanc here today. He was able to pull off a lot of things. His laning phase still as dominant as ever, but certainly when you're going up against some of the caliber of players we have on the RNGs, the EDGs, FPXs, what do you do then at that stage?
Yeah, honestly, it'll be a fantastic test for top esports and to see how they kind of go for. And I think a lot of people will be looking towards these games and sweating a little bit under the collar, because you're kind of going like, oh God, they're playing happy games and still smashing. That's when you know things are going to be a bit rough for a couple of other teams. But looking at, obviously, you know, we got a bit of time now before our interview comes up, but like, for Knight, I really do want to kind of see him kind of really pop off. We talked about it a little bit in the pregame of, like, you know, he has looked a bit muted, I think is the word we can look for. Again, by any average mid laner standards, not bad whatsoever. But for the level we expect him to be, it has been very muted, and it has been very not what we expect. So I want to see him come forward.
I think it's a big discussion that's kind of been had around the world around the meta that we have for mid lane. The mid lane actual laning phase is starting to matter less and less. Like, you can kind of fall a little bit behind, but it's not the end of the world because of the control mages that we're seeing in the mid. You're not getting as punished for it if you start to make these mistakes. Now, obviously, we do get solo kills and stuff, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, and I think that's why for like teams like WE, who are fielding players like Shanks, who is the rookie who's come in, he's not getting punished as heavy, and WE can still thrive as a result. And I think that's where we're starting to see the fall off for guys like Rookie and like Knight, where just being really damn good and being able to just butcher whoever opponent that might be that faces you isn't enough anymore. And when we get to these later game points like the Orianas and stuff that are a bit messy, it's not working for them.
Well, it worked today. So Knight was our MVP for Game 2. Had a fantastic display on that LeBlanc. And, of course, definitely deserves himself a little bit of recognition on that pick, because, like we said, he popped off a little bit.
Exactly, and it was cool to see, especially when we got that Cassiopeia coming out, that he's willing to go towards the LeBlanc. Because as we said, like, there are ways to play against this as Cassiopeia, but abusing the fact that he had just more access to resources with the Corrupting Potion, with the rune choices, he was able to get a nice lead, set up the bottom lane for success as well, and take over this game.
Yeah, we can see a couple of those bottom lane successes